Hey, good morning. It's May 1st, 2020 here in North Idaho. Crisp morning. It's cool. I think it was about 38 degrees last night, maybe a little less than that. Absolutely beautiful. I want to pose a question to you right now, and that is this. Are we beginning to live in one big Stanford Prison Experiment? If you're not familiar with the Stanford Prison Experiment, I recommend you look it up. It is a fascinating study into human nature. Okay, it was a study that was done decades ago by psychological professors that were looking at human nature. And they basically, the gist is this. They took students and they put them into these situations, these positions. Okay, they were either prison guards or prisoners. And they let their behavior play out without any rules or structure over the top of it. And the bottom line is this, is that after a short period of time, like half of what the experiment was supposed to last, okay, they stopped it because it was getting so out of control. Okay, in other words, the prison guards were becoming so cruel so fast. And to me, what this demonstrates is what I call the thin veneer of civility that we have in society. Okay, we're basically a civil society. Most people are not serial killers. Most people don't steal from other people. Yes, there's always those among us that will display that type of behavior at any time. Okay, but my point is this: is that are we living in the Stanford Prison Experiment? Are people who would normally, under regular circumstances, not do anything that's cruel or out of the structure of normal society, doing it? Okay, are we seeing an uptick in cruel or behavior that is beyond what someone would normally do? Okay, and I'm going to pick on cops here for a minute. The reason I'm picking on cops is because they are in a very, very susceptible position to be able to abuse power. Okay, so again, most cops, most of the time, don't abuse their power. Okay, but when put in certain situations, will they tend to abuse their power? I think the answer is clearly yes. Okay, if you study ethics, if you study human nature enough, then you will see that happen. Now, does that happen with everyone? Absolutely. And that's my bigger point here, is that we may be seeing this uptick among law enforcement or politicians, right? You see the heavy-handedness of politicians basically here's a couple examples. One is the mayor of New York recently singled out the Jewish community and basically said, I'm going to sic the New York Police Department on you if you don't, start obeying the rules immediately. And whatever, you can argue that, and some people have exaggerated and said he wants to round up the Jews. That's an exaggeration. But the fact that he doesn't understand the perception of what he said, and in the tweet, is outrageous. Okay, a mayor of a city of 8 million that has no sense enough to say those types of things is freaking outrageous. All right, so that's a politician that's kind of, in my opinion, drunk on power. Okay, now I know of another situation personally. This happened in Oregon in the last couple days. This person got into a tiff at a drive-through restaurant, and the reason doesn't matter. Okay, and who was at fault doesn't matter. But what ended up happening is an employee from the fast food restaurant came out and stood in front of the car that was in the drive-through lane, and they called the cops because the person wouldn't leave because they weren't honoring something. Okay, some coupon or whatever. Okay, again, doesn't matter. The cops show up. 4 cop cars show up in Oregon, and they say, you need to leave. This person leaves. The cops follow this person a mile down the road, then pull them over. Okay, they pull them over. They take them out of the car. So this is one person with a small child. Take them out of the car, and they search the vehicle. The person asks, why'd you pull me over? And the answer was, we don't have to tell you. Okay, that's an escalation, right? I don't know if they're justifying that through an emergency situation, throwing off all probable cause, throwing off all legal ramifications. Now, I can tell you right now that lawyers are getting involved in that situation right there because it was such a blatant abuse of power. We don't have to tell you. Okay, and one of the cops actually came up to this person and threatened them in another manner. Okay, you have reports of this type of thing happening all over. Now, to be fair, okay, are these hyped up? I don't know. Are these exaggerated? Maybe. Okay, so that is a possibility. Is this happening more than it was, 3 months ago? I don't know. Maybe they're just being more reported now. But not my point. My point is there's this thin veneer of civility that can come off very quickly. Okay, we have historical precedent. We see what happened after Hurricane Katrina, after that thin veneer of civility was ripped away. Okay, we do see escalation now in some areas. Okay, we need to understand that can happen further and it can happen fast, and it can happen with anyone. Okay, this isn't just about cops or politicians. This is about regular average citizens that under normal circumstances wouldn't do anything crazy, can be driven to do things that are crazy. That is a fact. Okay, a basic student of history understands that these things can happen. They understand civil unrest and how people can be driven to things that they wouldn't normally do. And so my one application today is that understanding this about human nature actually guards against it. Okay, guards against our throwing off that thin veneer of civility. Okay, so here's my I'm imploring you, look up the Stanford Prison Experiment, read about it, listen, watch some of the interviews that occurred. Read. It's Zimbardo, Philip Zimbardo, Dr. Philip Zimbardo, I believe, was the main guy involved in this. And he's wrote some fascinating books about human nature, the Lucifer effect, etc., that you should consider. Why? Because it's a guard against me and you, our susceptibility to do things we wouldn't normally do. Okay, are we seeing that? I hope not, but I think we are, right? Because again, it's human nature. Human nature put into certain situations, they're going to act in a predictable manner, and a lot of times that is the thin veneer of civility goes away. All right, so guard against it, look into it, study these things, because it will help you be self-regulated and restrained. It will also help you hold other people accountable. When you see that type of action, you're just bewildered. Don't be bewildered by the cop that says, I don't have to have a reason or tell you a reason that I pulled you over. Okay, it helps you hold them accountable as well. Okay, as well as yourself.